All right. So you guys keep on proceeding, but nobody has done any of the real work. Okay. So nobody watched The Tower. Not nobody, but nobody watched The Tower, where we did the entire new Gryffindor Tower sequencing and the entire structure around it with all the new worlds. All right. The, nobody did the A&R yoke. And then nobody did the initial element of Earth set within the element Lotus format Earth. So you guys are like picking and choosing videos to watch based off the title and your own levels of arrogance and not realizing like it's getting bizarro. All right. Ask your dragons if that's okay. Seriously. We're running short on time. So we don't want to do anything right. so like so that's how Lucifer feels about you guys. All right. Your deep desires to produce shortcuts in life is the reason why I end up getting knife raped. So those are your karmas, and you guys will pay the consequences dearly. That laziness and that level of arrogance is mind-blowing. To not actually do the whole first part of the earth element video and to not do the tower video. Oh wait, to not do the anti-knife rape video. So your dragons, they like want to come to earth and they want to be like doing magic and stuff, but like one, they don't want to be stabbed while they're doing it. Number two, they don't want their magic to be stabbing other people that they like. So when you guys aren't doing we don't have power. We don't know why. This was a huge problem in the Mayan lineage. With Star going, I want all force and no form. All right, so that is crazy. And here it should be all form by GEBURAH. All form and no force. All form, no reward. And that's when you know you're in ultimate surrender to God. Is that you show up in perfect form. And maybe God shows up with 100% force. And that's to bypass your guys' psychosis and arrogance. All right. This is the same teaching in Kill Bill, where she has 1 inch to break through the board. Not a foot, not 5 feet, where she can throw a punch. Perfect form. And then that, with the strengthened chi, develops into an actual alchemical wonder. You guys aren't doing any good magic, because what can I say? Let's begin. poison oak in my hands. And I'm wondering where I got it. It's itchy, but I'm not going to touch. We're going to do the element of wood. This is the rowan tree. I'm bringing up oak and poison oak. The energy of oak is solid and grounded. It has a lot more of that. Like I can actually throw a punch energy. And the rowan tree doesn't. You get very small, slim chances to push forward. It doesn't have that massive strength. It has a sharper, shrewder, tighter grid. So we're going to get the rowan lotus. We're going to throw it into the central column of our tower. And the people who did all the previous work, it will activate it. And it will grow. And the people who didn't, sorry. It's God's boundary. So for the people who did the appropriate tower setup, it will root through all the different layers of the central column. It will create a twin tree in the center of your Hufflepuff yolk. And they will both root down to the bottom of the earth. And then create a master shell. The master shell will be, it will look like the banyan tree around the whole planet. This will be the rooting system that goes throughout the globe. So much like Cora could anchor, touching the tree roots at the banyan tree and finding. So we'll develop that level of psychic awareness around other people, where they are, how they are. Because it's a rescue tree. It's a service. And you'll see the red berries and all the, it won't look like a rowan tree. It's going to look a lot more like a banyan tree because it will be lush and it will go throughout the entire globe. You'll start to see the psychic energy clean out and get sharper and get more on point with right action. And you can make sure that it's at the 4 other columns or towers on your Hufflepuff yoke, or the 3 other ones. And then the 3 other world points where it gets very strong. So 4 master home trees, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 master home trees. Wait. We have 5. Yep. 8 master home trees. And if it feels stuck and you did all the work, we're going to spray on that pearlescent goo. But it might feel stuck because it's doing all the rooting system first. And this does not feel like the same grid when we did open up Netzach with the tree. When we did the tree in Netzach, it was like, whoa, real magic. Or lushness. Or you might have gotten all the old reptile downloads. Crazy stuff. This is very different. It's not lusty. It's simple, practical action. But it has a much greater spread and power. Thing about going from Netzach into Tiferet was learning how to let go of that lust for power and then go, yeah, I'm just going to be like a muggle when you're in Hufflepuff. And then you get really grounded and solid with your magic. And it's just beginning magic, right? It's the astral plane magic, but it still exists. And then we get up into GEBURAH, and then it's like action, action, action. Write it down. Go do your workout. Go do your job. Action, action, action. Dragons don't like drama. Here's the thing. This is how you know a dragon versus a human. A human looks at what you're doing and they're like, wow, you're like, you are overworked. You do too much. You work too hard. That's overdone. That's too much out of our norm. Okay, so like a dragon, like, oh, you have 5 dragons to write 126 pages for. Here's another 100. And then they'll all introduce themselves to you. And there's never enough work that can get done. And like it's your job to learn how to master and balance it all without going psycho. All right, that's a dragon. So that's definitely God. So God's always gonna go, how do you push the boundaries? How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you go this way and this way and this way and balance this and then add this? Okay, so that's the standard for like a GEBURAH Ascended Master. Period. Oh, that's too far out of our norm. Can any of you produce a Patronus charm? Have any of you guys touched a dragon in real life? Okay, so like that's the human psychosis of reality. Have I touched a dragon in real life? I got close. Very close. All right. Mostly I just channel them. All right. And that's enough for me for right now. The biggest and best thing is to feel the love that emanates off of them. That's one of my favorite things. And the other is listening to like Lucifer and Dynastar being funny. Or when Charlie says a joke. Stuff like that. Or when Hades grids up the clip within like 5 days. Like, that. It never goes away. Okay. So the dragons are never going to put you down for creativity or amazing problem solving because they're not stupid at all. Now, yeah, the creativity in GEBURAH expands like by 10 million. You might do A&R pages all day long, but the downloads you get while you're doing the A&R pages, that's the juice. So, so we're doing the pearl goo through the roots. Make sure that it gets good through the root system and then all the leaves and all the berries around the globe. Now we're gonna pray for intergalactic stardust, but we're gonna do a red version. This is a seraphim blessed intergalactic stardust. Not that golden Tiferet stardust. So this is not the stardust of Pixie Hollow. This is like firecracker stardust. Boundary setting, firecracker, cord breaking stardust. And what happens when it activates on the pearl goo, you'll start to see they're firecrackers and they're ever expanding. So they'll explode into like 5, that explodes into another 5, that explodes into another 5. So it's a compounding, like, it's a compounding GEBURAH stardust. And if you see like your tree is being painted in that candy apple red, that's what the stardust actually does. It's an anti-parasitic magic. It's going to take any of the remaining lazy energy in your mind or your body or your root or your cellular structure. And it's going to start burning out those lazy cells. So if you think of Fred and George with the firecrackers on Umbridge, with how it turns into the dragon and it chases Umbridge out of the building. So like that's what we're doing with Star. And get her lazy ass exposed and cut off from her psychodrama power. Where she thinks she's God and owns the galaxy. So some of it might turn into a dragon. Some of those firecrackers might turn into the dragon and then attack the dome. Man, the minute Charlie gets power, that like, it's just gonna be flame. She's been warned 500 million times. So. This is the problem of arrogance within individuals. If you're receiving 50 emails and like one of your students is like the dragons are like, all our grids have to include anti or protection against this woman because she attacks us all day long. So it's like that. And then she doesn't want to do anything about it because it's just her and she's allowed. Anyway, so you should start seeing the earth from the space point of view. Like it looks like a red streams of like gaseous light coming off of it. It looks actually really cool. There's this one emanation of Elsa where it's the red hearts coming out of her hand, and Lucifer was like, that's the magic. That's how you get your elemental. It's all the actual like red GEBURAH love, like the real true love coming and emanating out of your body, and that's what gets you your real elements. Lucifer's a great teacher. It's just love. Um, so intergalactic starlight. You may see it start to sparkle into gold. It's the gold dust. But it was GEBURAH approved. You might start seeing rivers of that golden light now going through the streets or through the bottom of the Clippeth underworld. The underworld feels very good. Feels very solid. We've got some traps here and there and that we need to clean out, but the next is weather. So now we're going to bring in the ether gray pasty clouds. And then weather, dark gray clouds around our planet. And we're going to spiral it like a tornado into our own home, into the central column. And it will release the lotus inside the central column. And you'll see the other lotuses be magically distributed to each tower. And this is some of your new access point to be able to distribute weather around the globe. Instead of your local location. When I ask it to rain, it's usually I'm asking it to rain locally. Because that's where my wand can hit the sky and then send the reverberation requesting new weather changes. So with the new global access grid, we might be able to do much better work. You might start seeing the clouds rolling in like fog through the streets. And the ether dropping deep into your home. The weather ether. And if you need to create a metal mesh, a weather access point metal mesh around the globe, please feel free. I would put the weather balls or beads in all the intersect points with like a griffin blue paste dot or a cobra acid ball. Somebody's asking me if I get bored doing this. No, I don't get bored. I get tired. I don't do it a lot. I mean, I do. I'm doing 5 to 10 hours of energy work every day. So you guys should do it a lot. That's a stupid thing for me to say. So the minute that I tell you guys that I don't do it a lot, you guys cut down your doing it by half, at least. And then when you guys can't do anything and I'm still doing 5 to 10 hours of work on other stuff, it's all of a sudden you guys are lazy assholes. Remember the bar is up here. And when I say that I don't do something a lot, all of a sudden you guys think that the bar gets lowered, and it's not, because again I'm doing like 500 other things that you guys refuse to do. It's bizarre. Be like Misty Copeland saying she doesn't do a lot of plies a day, or some of the basic skills or the basic conditioning required, because she is dancing 7 hours a day. So she's using all the same muscles and doing all the same movements, but it just looks different. So, and then you guys, oh, I don't have to do it because she doesn't. So it's that. You guys have to go above and beyond like 10 times over. And when you go above and beyond, and then you develop a new status quo, and then another level, and then a new status quo, and then another level, and then a new status quo, and another level, until you're so far out of society and your own idea of reality, or what you thought was reality, that you can do amazing things. Like, that's how an ascended master thinks and feels. Not, what's the baseline of what I have to do? Maybe what's the baseline of what I have to do today to get my goal done? That my crazy goal. That, okay. Where I'm sustainably producing action where I don't burn out. And that should be the thought. How much can I do to move forward where I continue to perpetuate sustainable action that is productive, where it's not counterproductive? And it's the same, all athletes, it's the same, like, how do I push the boundary where it doesn't hurt my body? How much work can I move forward where I don't want to shoot myself the next day? Okay. So that's the lesson in weather. That, excuse me, I just swallowed a fly. Oh man, a little gnat fly just went down my throat. That's GEBURAH weather. And that's the lesson. So how do I measure my actions appropriately? And then we feel, oh, this is better. So that's like how Hermione Granger worked. So she's like, can I do the time turner? How much can I do if I do the time turner? How many classes can I get in 1 year? Okay. And it got to the point where it ruined her. So we know that lesson. So maybe if she had done only half of that, or maybe a quarter of that, where she was still working with the time turner, but she wasn't she wasn't burnt to a crisp. So it wasn't wrong. She just didn't do it well. Okay. That's a very important teaching in life. So we don't think about it with we might if we have that ability right now. If we don't, then we don't think about it, because that's a waste of our thought, unless we're creating books or imagination work. Okay. We mostly stay. What are we capable of doing today? And how can I maximize on that? So for me, it's like, how many dragons can I get papers done? When I'm not drowning. Okay. That's the weather. And then we're going to bring in the snow. If you want to do the weather spirals around each of the yolks and do the Russian folding doll setup for the weather, that's nice. I can't even speak right now. So once around the home, once around the city, that city master yoke. And then you do the big Hufflepuff yoke. And then you might throw a petal onto the placenta. Our firecracker dust, intergalactic starlight dust, did well with the placenta, because it's still lighting up. If you see rowan seeds in the placenta, that was the grid for that. And then we have the earth weather. All the way to the core. All right, so here's our snow, our Helmavah snow. We're going to start with our central tower in our home. You might see a lotus that's lit up that starts shooting out the sparkling versions of the Helmavah. It's going to start getting cold. You can feel the temperature change. And even from the pit of hell, the Helmavah, like the dark, scary energy kind of turns into just I love. So it gets tempered. So there's no more upside down world. Like in Stranger Things. You don't get an evil twin. Where our, like, we have our good self and then we have our shadow self that does all these crimes. God's boundary. All that stuff is black magic. Excuse me. I'm going to do the Helmavah. I'm going to paint that Helmavah on each of the towers around my home. Now it's just start to see the snowflakes come down. And it's a nice sense of peace and coolness and calm. I'm being asked why couldn't I do that when I was in the heat of battle. I would have liked to. I was mostly gritting with lava every day to burn everything. But and then we're gonna grid the city oak. You might see the Helmavah fall on the floor and like melt inward towards the ground. And then we're going to do the big Hufflepuff yoke, Helmava around all the different towers that are left over. And I will go all the way almost to the core of the earth. And we're going to do some backwards working. Around the globe, we're going to have the world lotus egg for the weather. We're going to have a dragon light that up. It might be like a snow dragon or a frost dragon instead of a fire dragon. So it might have blue fire or pearl fire. Okay. Now we're going to put the Helm of Awe on the other three main world points, North Pole, South Pole, Antipodal Point, and then the 12 towers around those points. You should see the Helm of Awe just falling over the whole planet and begin to clean out the psychic energy. You should go to shake down to the core of the earth. Start to help melt away old black magics. Then we're gonna bring in Ensof. We can do an element lotus egg around the weather one. It would be a clear where you see the Helm of Awe in like each scale and a weird angle. like a clear pocket scale. Or a few, like a few of the Helm of Oz, like they're in a bubble globe, the snow globes. We already started getting the downloads for the Ravenclaw Tower. In what would be in the Russian, the Russian, the Ravenclaw pillow, gel pillow inlays on the walls and stuff, and like what they're for. Pretty funny. Okay. Now we're gonna have a white dragon. Maybe preferably a snow dragon. Lighten this one up. I have a tribe called the Snowdrops. Maybe one of those dragons. Somebody says their dragon White Lily is a snowdrop. We're almost finished with the cleaning on the tribe. Not papers, just the bath. So, all right. Then, so we have that lit up. That keeps our halmava really nice. There's a really deep teaching in the Helmava. Is that so? It's the ultimate dragon protection sigil, but it looks like a spider web. And the biggest thing is like we have to weave our own webs in life. We're always going to have to create from nothing and weave new webs of magic into the planet. And that is the ultimate dragon protection. That's the only protection. Like, is continuously weaving those webs. So when I say I don't do something very much, doesn't mean you guys get to stop weaving webs constantly. Like, you should feel like you're drowning. I feel like I'm drowning. You should feel like you're drowning. Okay. The next the best feeling is kind of feeling like you're drowning and then getting a schedule where you're like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. That's the best space where it feels like it's lean and it doesn't feel like you're masturbating in life. So, okay. The next is Ensof. So we're going to put our Ensophic Lotus in the middle of our tower. And almost none of you deserve this. But you'll start to feel it emanate out. real good ends off. And it will emanate out to the other 4 towers and create a sphere around the home. And then a sphere around the city. And then it will emanate to the other 4 towers outside the city yoke. And then we have our master yoke. Make sure it's in the lower worlds. In the root system, part of the sphere. I don't want to do any more work. That's where I'm at NSOF. So we know NSOF is just a tool and not a destination in life. It's a ray. Okay. It's not, I'm escaping into NSOF all day. Now when you master your when you master the red ray, you'll look like the ninja from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon times a million with all the powers of the universe. And then you might ascend actually into NSOF. Where you're like, yeah, I'm actually one with God in reality. That's a goal. Sure. Okay. Through the physical world and everything in between. But what that Ensophic ray, it feels nice cleaning out some of this stuff. Making sure it goes into our Hufflepuff. We get a new lotus for the central column of our Hufflepuff yoke. And then it emanates outward. And this is it's a golden Ensof instead of the main white Ensof, which we got in our home. There are a number of variations of Ensof, just so everybody understands. The two most common are the golden and the white. And then some people get black Ensof. Some. Almost no one. Black Ensof. I am an approved orer. Like, so in all honesty, like A&R marks to get the ability to run real black ends off. Black ends off is this. Let me explain. Nobody's gonna not understand black ends off after this image. Maleficent with the crow into a dragon. Okay, so that's black ends off. She takes the crow and turns it into a dragon. So do you understand why it's or level? So A&R marked people get like little bits of it. I can't contain myself. The idea that you guys might do stuff like that is bizarre. You guys can't even do your dragon paperwork much. Oh, nobody can free Willy. The black ends off. Come on. Oh my god. So so we make sure, yeah, we're not gridding with black ends off. Sorry, dudes. Even if this is Gryffindor. I'm just gonna purify a white over it. Over the world shell. Now, if you see black ends off in the grid, we closed off Netzach with it. That's why. On the planet. That's why the dragons won't ever give it to you guys until you're like really trustworthy. This is a 5D Ascendio planet. Not Slytherin. God. So yeah, you'll start to see if you even try to run black ends off, it will be taken from you. Like it will be stolen. Okay, so I'm hearing the question. Will our black or dragons that we do our aura levels for be running? Yes and no. You're gonna find that you will attract higher level guides. I don't want to say higher level guides, different types of guides that run black ends off. The dragons aren't stupid. They run black Ensoft like an ore, but not like a pocket of black Ensoft. Like, so you'll find guides that are like a black Ensoft fairy or something, and you'll have to do all their paperwork too. All right, I've dropped my wand enough. Now, I don't know if they'll be a fairy, but they'll be something. I'm not gonna tell you what mine are. All right, so there'll be a mythical creature, bird or something. Gross. Okay, so and they'll have names and personalities. So we did Ensoft on the planet. If you want to throw the Ensoft on that dragon egg shell that was the snow, please feel free. Or just on the outside of it. And then we throw the high oat cream on top of that, the high oat milk cream. Oh no. And then we go Dracarys. We light it up with one of the dragons or ourself. Maybe we do it ourselves. Or maybe we have a beautiful dragon light it up for us. Either way. I need to make sure the bottom got done. You're just going to start to feel the forgiveness energy coming through with the Ensoft. A lot less harsh judgment, a lot less critical, overly criticalness. So it frees you. You're like, I have to deal with knife rapists. Okay, so like it frees you from the horror or the critical judgment of it or like the insanity surrounding it. And then you might be able to like deal with them. And you're running more Ensoft from the bottom of the clipet. This is where GEBURAH feels like his said. Kinda. Yeah. Ensoft is just another layer of boundary, so fine by me. But it will start to heal your brain, even if you're in the pit of hell. All right. Now we have the black tar heroine. She ain't gonna give you a lotus. What she's gonna do is drop a bunch of little black tar heroine beads into your central column. And then it's gonna start to melt through all the floors and the ceilings. And so where Ensoft felt nice, like was lacking critical judgment, the black tar heroine is gonna make you 10 times more shrewd and judgmental, but not in a bad way, but in like a Simon Cowell or like a alpha critical awareness kind of way. It's going to ground you and make you more present. Instead of where you look like a stupid fucking hippie running NSOF all day. Everything is love and light. And like 5 girls just got their clits cut out right now. Okay, so that. And that's why it's the black tar heroine, because she is way more aware of everything that's going on the planet that needs to not be going on the planet. And oh no, 1 million women and children are being raped right now. Right now. Okay? She's going to throw the beads into the other towers. The same thing will happen. It will manifest through the floors, the ceilings of the towers, and on the outside walls. And it will duplicate through the city, the master 4 towers. We're going to pour the beads there. And in the central column of the Hufflepuff yoke, that's where she'll put the lotus, but it has red in it. It is black and red lotus. And the black tar heroine beads are jumping off of it. And this is a kind of like a black widow. Energy. So think of Scarlett Johansson's character. Okay, so that is the beginning of like a really good horror in life. Mind, body, soul, everything. She didn't have a perfect upbringing, but she was trained very well. You don't have to look like Scarlett Johansson to be an horror. But there's something about the character and the posture and the poise and the maturity that works. Iron Man is a tool. So a lot of these other characters are way more perversely flawed. She was able to like ground in the divine dark femme. In action. So there's a sense of Irene Adler in this character persona as well. Maleficent. the difference between Hermione at the age of 40 and the Hermione as a teenager. So Hermione, after having to capture 500,000 dark wizards, all right, and sit in trials, watching and dealing with all the damage they did, and the kids they slaughtered. Okay, so that's a very different story than what J.K. Rowling ever could write up. And the horror doesn't end. This is the Isis Kali Ma energy. We can start to hear her. And have a sense of knowing. We're going to get much deeper and on the black tar heroin when we do Bina. You're going to feel like the grid tightening in that yolk. We're going to paint the world towers in the black tar heroin. The North Pole, South Pole, the antipodal point. The reason why it's called black tar heroin is because that you really have to be stepping to use it. You have to be stepping into the hero archetype. Otherwise, it's like black tar Ursula. Okay, so that's like star. Nobody really understands. She stole like 9 months of my life. She stole from every child I could help. She stole from every dragon. She stole from the planet. She stole from the whales. She stole from the dolphins. Just so she could stab me for 9 months and force channel on me and refuse my requests for help. And she stole, and she stole, and she stole, and she stole some more. See how that's not black tar heroin. So it's definitely not it's not the divine femme. I, dragons understand this. The karmic consequence of that kind of behavior. They'll just take those people out in life. Not even a second thought. And just now I'm triggering her to the point where she's saying, you stole from me just showing up in my dome. So we have very clear understanding of why the dragon switches. Okay. Because that's her real, actual maturity in life, not the facade she presents to the populace. So we're gonna put the black. We painted the black tar heroine on the world. What you might see is a electromagnetic conduit black tar heroine grid mesh, but it's not like the metal. It's organic and it's not perfect, and it's like a 3 feet cubes instead of 1 foot cubes. And then we go all the way into the center of the earth with the black tar mesh grid. It's not as easy to put this one on, maybe for some of you. And if you put it around the mantle of the earth, is what I'm hearing, it works better. And kind of light it. And what we're starting to see is there's still the demon pit that still didn't get burned out. It's a nice thing about the black tar heroine, it starts to show all the other stuff. That's why it's a really excellent aura element. So I'm gonna any little portals of more demon pits. I know mine's not that great. Elijah's hell pit technology is better. If he only was an ascended master to be able to use it. From his perspective, I only get a quarter of it. And then he gets the remaining 3/4 of it. Man, I'd like to see that in action. Somebody's saying, yeah, that's Harry. Like, that's Harry Potter. Yeah. Harry Potter, that knife rapes. Still. God, that needs to go away. So we're gonna get the lotus egg. If you're feeling kind of gypped, like you want the entire planet to be filled with black tar heroin, like you're not alone, but it doesn't work that great when it's like that. It's not like making the element of earth be a giant sludge pool. All right, so we're gonna have the element, the black tar lotus egg around the planet. And we're gonna have the black tar on the outside, but it might look like it's flaming. Like the girl on fire kind of flaming already. Now it's gonna start cleaning out a lot of the psychic noise. That's my favorite, is flaming up the black tar heroin egg. Because it makes me feel like I can stop time. I can't, not yet, but it feels like it, and that's cool. So it's kind of Professor X-y. Okay. Is there any other element that we need to grid? We can do the Griffin blue paste. Or the moon, the Patronus. That the moonbeam. So we're going to put a sparkling blue lotus in your central column. And that's going to be like ether gas surrounding it. So this is the moonbeam element. And it's going to feel like shit, because none of you have attuned to it. Remember in the beginning where some of you guys would do the black tar heroin and it would smell like burnt charcoal? So the moonbeam feels like crap. And this is why we did our egg already, but without like the element. Because it makes me want to vomit. Okay. So we're going to put the moonbeam lotuses at all the other major columns. So we have eight major ones. And then it reflects into the other little towers. And then it wraps around all the posts. Okay, so like the moonbeam element, it kind of takes over. It's like a kamikaze, like I'm gonna take over the planet real fast. It's like it took over your home and your body, and like, oh, nauseating. It takes over your gut. You'll attune to it. We all attune. We haven't seen moonbeam element on this planet yet. Yay. Are we gonna have the moonbeam egg around the planet? Yeah. Since the moonbeam came, it all came in. It came in at dot, but we still haven't finished GEBURAH yet. So we're gonna have Luma light it up. Or we have a dragon named Moonbeam. Luma's cool. That's gonna help the half done confessions get much faster. Yay! No more knife rape. So instead of knife rape, I get moonbeam sent to my vagina. That's the stuff. Okay. That's step one. Let's get it to the point where we can manifest it physically. Now I look and I'm feeling my feet. I know I'm a real witch in Gryffindor. I just don't want to do anything anymore. So that's where my feet are at. Because I'm tired. But now, instead of saying that they're muggle feet, they're already back at I'm a witch in Gryffindor. Okay. Alright. Those are the elements. Collyren out. Wait. We do the 0 out is our next video. Okay, now Collyren out.